Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Creative Duelist here, representing Team FDK, and I've been making decks creative since 2016. Welcome, folks. Today I'm here with my Dark World deck profile, bringing something from the past. Dark World has always been a fun build to play, and annoying my opponent by making them draw things they don't want to draw and making them send things they don't want to send. But anyway, before I get onto the sugar and spice and everything nice, I'm going to go ahead and make a couple announcements. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like this video, and comment down below to give us some feedback. Feedback is always nice to hear, as long as it's appropriate to the profile. Anyway, of course, we are sponsored by Inked Gaming. Inked Gaming sells a variety of items such as mats, keyboards, and mouse. Please check out Inked Gaming, my bad. For your 10% discount, of course, we have the promo code TeamFDK. Make sure you punch that in, take advantage of that promo code, and of course, happy shopping. We also have a Patreon, so if you folks would like to hit us up on Patreon and become a pledger, please do so. Check out our tiers that suit your likings. And of course, if you can't do Patreon, PayPal is also an option. Please check out PayPal. Tip us on an occasional level. We highly appreciate any kind of donation that is sent to us. So please, if you'd like to donate and support the channel, it is completely optional. Please check those options out. Links shall be in the description. But anyway, on to the deck profile. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the bread and butter and of course PBJ. So let's begin. So starting off with the monster lineup, I've got the triple Grapher. Grapher is very standard to play. Grapher is so good. He's built-in inherit summon, so basically if you control a Dark World monster, you can bounce it to hand and special summon Grapher from the grave. His that effect is not once per turn, which is so good. So you can, like, if you've got 3 Graphers and you've got some ways to send the beige, you can loop Graphers, which is so amazing. And also if Graph is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can basically you can pop a card in the field, but if your opponent sends it, you get to basically pick one random card from their hand and special summon it to your side of the field if it's a monster that you selected. Also, just want to make something clear. When they're discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, they need to be sent to the graveyard as part of effect, not as cost. So, trade in. So if you send Grapher off with trade in, he will, you won't get the effect to blow up something. You'll just resolve the trade in, because trade in pitches the monster for cost. So please make sure you read the card text very carefully. And of course, got the triple Snow. She's standard, she's the Stratos. When she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to search for any Dark World card from your deck. Search anything. You can loop the Snows. You can even search herself, which is amazing, which is a rare commodity effect. Also, if she's sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you get to special summon. You get to target a monster in the graveyard, I believe, and special summon it onto your field. But that's pretty much it for her. Pretty much it for Snow. We've got triple Brow. Brow is your combo extender, or your hand, or your draw engine. My bad. But when he's sent to graveyard by a card effect, you draw an extra card. So he becomes a little mini jar of avarice, jar of greed. But if your opponent sends him, he becomes a pot of greed. So you draw 2 cards instead of 1, which is pretty nice. Now on to the kind of the mid-boss monsters, kind of the level 6 and the 5 grunts, as I call them. Got the one Lucent. If Lucent is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you special summon him from the graveyard. But if your opponent sent him to the graveyard, excuse me, my throat, just need to clear it. You can special summon one fiend monster from the deck instead. Which is really good. You can bring out a Grapher for free, whatever the situation calls for. And we got one Silver. Silver has the same effect. If he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon him from the graveyard. And then once he's special summoned, depending on who sent him to the graveyard, if you just sent him, he just gets special summoned. But if your opponent sends him, you special summon, and you get to target 2 cards from your opponent's hand and put them at the bottom of the deck in any order, which is absolutely disgusting, especially if you make your opponent do it. Then we've got the double gold. Now you're probably thinking, why am I playing just 1 silver and 2 golds? The ratio's up to you. I couldn't find my second silver for some odd reason, but I like to play kind of more of the Dark World monsters because you always want, you always want monsters to send off. But gold, he basically nukes. He nukes 2 cards in your opponent's field if your opponent sends him to the graveyard, and if he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, he special summons himself, which is pretty good in that aspect. And then to pretty much round up all the Dark World monsters, we've got the final monster, which is the double Beige. Beige, when he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, he special summons himself directly from the grave to the field. Beige, you need to abuse Beige. Beige is amazing, especially if you've got Grapha, because then you can just bounce Beige, special, bounce, do all sorts of craziness. So Beige allows you with those crazy plays. So that's going to round up the Dark World aspect. I'm going to talk about the other engine. So I played the Spicy Tech, the double Fabled Raven. What I love about Fabled Raven is that his effect is not a cost, it's part of his effect. So once per turn you can discard any number of cards, and if you do, he gains a level and 400 attack points for each card you discard. So if you have him and a bunch of Dark World monsters, you plus like crazy. So it's pretty cool in that aspect. And then I've got the double Fiendish Rhino Warrior to help you get the Grapha Engrave, or just to protect your Fiend monsters. And then of course 1 tour guide to round up the monster lineup, folks. Okay, for the spell lineup, for the field spell, I've got the triple the Gates of Dark World. This card is very important to play because this card enables you to basically loop your hand. So you can continue to keep sending the Dark World monsters, because the problem is Dark Worlds lose when they've got no, draw engine to and nothing to discard. If they have no what's the word? Yeah, if they just don't have any way of sending each other to the grave, the deck kind of just fizzles basically. So that's why you need Gates of Dark World on the field. Very important, and it has a little attack boost, which is pretty nice. We've got triple Dark World dealings. It's staple. You always got to play 3 of this. Dark World dealings forces your opponent to draw cards. So then we play the double Drag Down into the grave. Drag Down is very important to play in this build. Unfortunately, I'm missing my 3rd super rare. I can't find my commons, so I've just had to put 2 in. But you can happily just play the 3rd copy if you wanted to. It's definitely an option too. But yeah, Drag Down to the grave. It's so disgusting. It's free information, so your opponent, both players reveal their hands. Both players pick 1 card and both of them send to the graveyard, and then they both draw 1 card. This helps to trigger off your Dark World monsters, so you force your opponent to pitch them, because your opponent doesn't want to pitch them. And then of course you get free information, and you can pinch out hand traps sometimes, or pinch out whatever strategy cards they have in their hand. So Drag Down is good in that aspect. Double Lure of Darkness for draw power. 1 card destruction. This card is so amazing. Like if card destruction was at 3, my god, Dark Worlds would be so amazing. Then we've got 1 Foolish Burial, send Grapha, or the Fiendish Rhino Warrior to send a Grapha. 1 Burial from a different dimension to recycle the dark monsters that get banished from the field spell. And of course, Allure of Darkness. 1 Terraforming, and 1 Monster Reborn to round up the spell lineup. Traps are very small, so I'll just blitz through them. I played the double Eradicator Virus. It's very consistent to play because Grapha, we can just abuse Grapha. As long as we have Beige to keep summoning out and bouncing, Grapha is just so the best target to use Epidemic on, because then you just pick whatever you want depending on your matchups and you screw your opponent. Then I play double Reckless Greed. I recommend maxing this at 3. I can't find my 3rd copy. Then we've got 1 Dark Smog. So it's literally a DD Crow, which is pretty cool, and then one Dark World Brainwashing to screw your opponent over. It's really good if you brick, so then you force out, you force out your opponent to send the Dark World monsters from your hand. So it's very good in that aspect. So that's going to round out the whole main deck. Extra deck is up to personal preference, because to be honest with you, the main deck puts in so much work. Sometimes you don't even need the extra deck, but there are times where it will pop up. So I'll give you a couple of options you can play. So I've got some YuGiOh if you want to make a link play. Topologic, again, Grapher, you bring out Grapher, Topologic, new core monsters, and it's gravy. Borreload, Akashic Magician, Dante, but in fact you probably wouldn't play Dante because you don't want to send them. The only good card to hit the grave would be Grapher, and then we've got the one Levier. That's probably the best level 3 in this build. So you can bring back your banished Dark World monsters. Then we've got some rank 8s you can happily play. I'll just pop them here. And of course got the one Tugeres, the Timeless. It's pretty cool. You can make it with the Bages or the Snow, and he has some nice little effects. So this is what you can play. The extra deck is up to personal preference. But yeah, that's just pretty much it for the main deck, extra deck, and the whole profile. So thank you all for watching. If you folks enjoyed this video, please don't leave a like, comment down below. Feedback is always nice to hear. Tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. Remember to check out those links. Check out Inked Gaming. If you want to support the channel, PayPal and Patreon, those options are there. But yes, folks, this is the Creative Duelist signing out, representing Team FDK. Peace.